9 annoying car features we never actually wanted. What's up, everyone? Some car features like airbags and seatbelts are there to save lives, so there's no reason not to love them. Not every new car feature is a good idea, however, with some of them actually making our new cars worse. Let's get right into the video. Number 1. Annoying bongs, sounds, and warnings. Audible warnings really get on everyone's nerves. Whether you haven't fastened your seatbelt, you're getting low on fuel, or simply left the door open, surely there has to be a better way to send a message than the car bonging at maximum volume. In the past, visual warnings would be displayed on the dashboard, and as we need to look at the dashboard often anyway, surely that's enough. Listening to bonging sounds for miles isn't just irritating, but it's also quite distracting for the driver. Does your car make these noises or not? Let me know. Number 2. Voice control. If you've ever watched a sci-fi movie, voice control seems like the most awesome idea ever. It usually involves the main character chatting to the onboard computer in a human-like fashion. In theory, voice control is a great feature because you can activate actions of your car without taking your hands off the steering wheel. In real life, voice control is more likely to drive you mad. Most of the time, it's not half as fast or as efficient as the simplest of all solutions, the humble button. There are many variations of voice control out there, none of them being really perfect. If you've got a deep voice, too bad, it's not going to work. If you've got a quiet voice, probably the same thing. If you've got kids in the back or any other noise, don't even bother. Even when the conditions are perfect, voice control is rarely faster than just pressing a button. Number 3. Gesture control. The next step in unnecessary automotive interfaces are gesture controls. Much like voice control, gesture control requires you to be exact in your movements, and it isn't exactly guaranteed to work every time. The new BMW 7 has gesture control as an option, and chances are most people would suggest against getting it. Technological advance is a great thing, but let's be realistic for a bit. Do you really need to wave your hands around while driving your car? Why not just turn a wheel or something instead? Number 4. Start-stop. Start-stop technology seems like a great idea, right? The point of start-stop is to save you fuel in everyday traffic by turning the engine off after a certain number of seconds idling. This is a feature that rarely ever is useful and is pretty irritating too, especially if you're driving a sports car which always makes loud noises when starting up. On top of everything, it can wear your engine a lot quicker, especially if you drive it in cold weather over short distances. My advice is to avoid this feature, because it won't really save you much fuel either, and it'll cost you money as it's usually part of an extra equipment. Just buy a hybrid if you want to save fuel. Number 5. Electronic handbrake. There can't be many buzz-killing features worse than the electronic handbrake. Handbrakes are there to keep your car firmly in place when parking, sure, but they are also a fun little lever that gives your front-wheel drive car rear-wheel drive superpowers, especially in the rain or snow. Take note though, I'm not here to promote unsafe driving. Stunt your car responsibly, everyone. But without a proper handbrake, you can't even have fun on the track. Electronic handbrakes are not a handbrake at all, but rather a button of an electronic lever. This style of parking brake takes away all the fun from your car, because you can't do power sliding, drifts, or handbrake turns anymore. This feature won't annoy most people, but for car guys, it's like having your parents watching over you every second. Number 6. Keyless entry fobs. Keyless entry is an interesting, useful, and generally good feature, but it's ruined by gigantic fobs which have literally become a burden. In the pursuit of making a car more convenient, some manufacturers have forgotten all about our lives outside of them. Yeah, we're perfectly fine when entering a car without pressing any buttons, but we really don't want to carry huge pieces of plastic in our bags and pockets as well. What was wrong with traditional car keys? Number 7. Touchscreen commands. And we're back to good old buttons, or lack of buttons, should we say. By making some commands touchscreen exclusive, car manufacturers often just make everything harder to use than before. Instead of simply clicking a button or rotating a knob, a driver's first forced to browse around while driving, which has gotta be unsafe, right? Then there's the matter of hitting just the right place on the touchscreen, which isn't always the easiest thing to do when you're driving around. Touchscreens are cool, but if physical buttons did their job perfectly already, why change them? Some cars do it better than others, sure, for example the Tesla Model S, but some cars appear to be using touchscreens taken from an 8-year-old smartphone. Number 8. Lane departure systems. The thing with lane departure warnings and driver assists is that they tend to return you back into the middle of the lane. In reality, being positioned dead middle in your lane isn't always the best way, and when a car insists in returning you to the so-called ideal position, it can also lead to potentially dangerous situations. Imagine going a bit to the right in order to make your ride next to a big semi-truck more comfortable, or swerving a bit to evade a bad portion of the road. You really wouldn't want your car to automatically rebound in these situations, right? Number 9. Tyre Repair Kit. For some people, trunk space is everything. I would hazard a guess that for most people, however, people just want a decent-sized trunk. The good news is that engineers have now found a way to increase cargo room in your trunk. The only problem is, they've compromised a great feature that we all loved. You no longer get a spare tire anymore. Instead, you get a can of Tyre Repair liquid. Who actually bothers using this when they get a flat? Most drivers these days will call roadside assistance, but having a spare in the back is an excellent feature that gives you peace of mind. In some cars, a good old-fashioned spare tire is still available, but most modern cars have ditched it in favour of a few inches of boot space. Seems a shame. So there you are. Which features annoy you the most? Let me know in the comments below. Feel free to like or dislike the video. I reply to everyone in the first 6 hours. Cheers!